Welcome to this edition of the Ultimate Combat Experience. I'm Mike Stidham, once again with the greasy biker Todd Reed. Todd, we're back. We're ready for some more awesome action tonight. And in fact, you know, they say there's somebody for everyone.
You're right. These first two fighters coming up, perfect match for each other.
What I'm trying to say is they're not going to be the best fighters, but it's going to be a good fight. They're well matched. But you want to stick around because we talked about this last week, the Sugarloaf going up against Jake Truant. This thing has all the makings of a knockdown, drag-out barn burner.
I'm excited. This is going to be another great night tonight.
Knuckleheads unite. Crisman's on the card. It's the Ultimate Combat Experience coming right at you. All right, Todd, as we mentioned in the open there, these guys are very well matched, just not very well versed at what they do. And, you know, especially considering how long they've been doing. These guys have been around for a little while, and they're just a little bit novice. You know, they both come out, they mean well. You know, they try hard. They just don't have all the skills that are going to pay those bills.
Yeah, Dustin Crawford.
He's a funny guy.
Icy hot.
Yeah.
Funny story about that kid. What was it, the first time he showed up for a fight, instead of Vaseline, he rubbed Icy Hot all over his face?
Yeah, he earned his nickname Icy Hot, and before he knew it, he was crying because it hurt, didn't it? Understandably so. He ran Icy Hot not only all over his face, all over his body as well. So, yeah, Icy Hot is now, it looks like he's got some Vaseline on this time. Got the right stuff applied there. Dave Selliestead giving them last minute instructions, and here we go. You see old Dustin Crawford throwing a couple of lazy leg kicks, missing on both of those, and then now trying a nice double leg takedown. Make Darcy did a pretty good job of getting his hips back and defending the takedown. Dustin Crawford continuing to try to get that takedown, knocks the pad off the corner there. Dave Selliestead playing referee and custodian. Nice head throw. I never saw that coming. Boy, I'll tell you what, Make Darcy with a beautiful head throw, and Icy Hot finds himself on his back.
Yeah, that was a really nice takedown.
Yeah, it's something that really caught me by surprise. I didn't know that Make Darcy knew how to do that. But it looked good. Icy Hot now just kind of trying to hold him in tight, not giving him any space to sit up and rain down any punches or anything like that. And it looks like, okay, Make Darcy's working on a submission on the far side there. I didn't see that either. Missing a few things today.
Yeah, well, he's making that mohawk look good.
He sure is. He's sporting a mean mohawk. He's doing this move wrong, and it's not going to work for him, and finally he does end up bailing on it. But he was trying a submission, which, again, this is progress for Make Darcy. Now he's in a submission. He didn't see that coming. Icy Hot trying to do a triangle choke, and now they wind up in just one of those crazy positions that you just don't know what to call.
Uncomfortable.
Well, it's uncomfortable for them, uncomfortable for us to watch as well. And now another reversal, man. Fortunes have reversed here, and Make Darcy has Icy Hot in an attempted guillotine. Didn't quite get there. Icy Hot was able to thwart it off, but now finds himself in a triangle choke. These guys are back and forth submission. Not a whole lot of defense, but and they're not a whole lot of near finishes either. You see Make Darcy trying to Icy Hot trying to stand up and get out of that, and he did so. Now, a transition to an armbar here would have gone the other way, and Make Darcy's he still doesn't think he's done anything wrong. He's put an armbar on backward.
Yeah, looks like we got a little bit of blood coming from somewhere.
Yeah, it looks like Icy Hot might have a bit of a bloody nose, but he's not in any danger here on that armbar attempt by Make Darcy. Now we're seeing some nice elbows from Icy Hot. Interestingly enough, with these strikes right here, it's going to make it a hard round to score because Darcy kind of controlled the action up to this point. But those elbow strikes, you got to give a lot of credit for them. They were pretty solid shots, and Darcy not able to really defend them.
Yeah, both of these guys are really going for it. You know, they're looking good. They're having fun out there.
You know, that's what I got to say about both these guys. I mean, they're not the most skilled, but they like what they do, and they're having fun at it. And, you know, they're getting better. And they try hard, and you can't beat that. They're a great way to open up a fight card. Round number one, going to come to a halt right there. And a tough round to score once again. And you look at a guy like Icy Hot, and his face is all bloodied up, and it's easy to kind of think that he lost that round. But toward the end there, man, his striking really brought him back. I'd have a hard time scoring this bout.
Yeah, I think this next round is going to be pretty interesting. I think both these guys are going to be running right at it.
Yeah, it's going to see it's going to be interesting to see who's able to get up off that stool with any kind of energy. You can see they're both pretty spent. They put a lot of effort into that first round, and really the first part of this next round is really going to set the tone for the fight, because we've both been taxed. We both had our advantages in the fight, and now who comes out with the most energy, I think, is really going to have a better chance of winning this fight.
I'm going to have to agree with that.
All right, good, man. Not often we agree on things, Todd. We can agree on this. All right, round number 2 looks like we're about ready to get underway here. And once again, this is Mike Darcy and Dustin Icy Hot Crawford. Here we go. Well, Darcy wants to touch gloves and Crawford does not. Maybe he's too tired. Who knows? Those are lazy 1-2 and missed by a mile. And here comes another nice head throw by Mike Darcy, and has Dustin Crawford in a bad spot. Now, if he can maintain position here, he'll be in good shape, because Icy Hot had a hard time getting off that stool, I could tell. He doesn't have a whole lot left in the tank.
Well, both these guys lost a lot of energy in that first round just holding on to each other.
Yeah, they sure did.
Says a lot about the conditioning.
Yeah, without a doubt. Darcy, unfortunately, lost position there. Looked like he tried to step over into a full mount, and when he did so, Icy Hot was able to get the reversal. Now he's on top. And Darcy trying that funky submission from underneath. He's not got it. Taking some big elbows here.
Yeah, I think if Crawford's smart, he's going to sit there and just hold Darcy down for a minute. Well, let him waste that energy.
Maybe, yeah, might as well. Right here, he's got an opportunity here. Oh, big left hand's coming up over the top, and a nice right elbow. I've always wondered if these guys talk to each other in there. They're right there with their mouths next to each other's ear. And what are they saying, or what do they do? Right here, it looks like Darcy might have thrown in the towel. I've seen him do this before. When he starts covering up like that, he's pretty much resigned to the fact that he's lost the fight. It's hard to see a guy lose a fight to striking from guard. If you're mounted, I get it. You're in a position where you really can't get away. But if your opponent's in guard position and is striking to the point where you don't defend, it means you kind of gave up. You kind of quit.
Yeah, it says another thing about their conditioning. I think Darcy's just gassed.
That may have a lot to do with it, and some of it has to do with he just doesn't have that heart, that drive that you really need to be successful in mixed martial arts. Icy Hot, obviously, he's come a long way since the first time he visited the cage. First time he didn't know, Vaseline from Icy Hot. Now he's coming away with a big win, so things are moving in the right direction for him. And we're going to make this one official. Your referee, Dave Seuss. Icy Hot can't wait to get his hand raised. He's got ants in his pants over there. And sometimes it takes him a minute to figure out who the winner is. There you go, Icy Hot. Dustin Crawford, your winner tonight in your first bout. Welcome back to the Ultimate Combat Experience. If you're just joining us, you missed a barn burner of a first bout in this night of fights. And now we've got Lorenzo Herrera and Kevin Allred coming up in the featherweight division. Lorenzo Herrera from the Tooele area. Good-looking kid, wrestled in high school. I think he took second in state out there for Tooele. Going up against Kevin Allred, a kid we've seen quite a bit in the cage. This kid started out really not very good, but he's come a long way. He's a tough kid. He's got a lot of heart. He wasn't very well versed when he stepped into the cage the first time, but man, he really has gotten a lot better. But going up against the kid who's a high-level state placer, that's tougher than people think. Even though that's not MMA, it's wrestling, and wrestling is a very good foundation to have when you come into the mixed martial arts arena.
Yeah, both these guys look like they're in the zone, pretty serious.
Yeah, Kevin's been here before. He's got a lot of experience, and obviously to get to the top level state wrestling, you've been in that combat arena before. So both these guys seem like they're seasoned veterans here, coming out, filling each other out. Kevin Allred slipping while trying to throw a head kick there, and trying to throw a nice Superman punch, but Herrera able to duck underneath. A nice head movement, especially for a wrestler. You can see he's got a bit of a boxing background with his head movement and his footwork, so he's not just good at this stuff right here, but he was actually good on his feet. I was impressed with what he did. And able to finally secure that takedown. But Kevin Allred, why is it? He was looking, he knew that takedown was coming. He kind of gave it, but while he gave it, he was looking for that arm there, trying to get a submission. And Herrera says, that might hurt my arm a little bit, but I'm going to punch you with my other.
Well, he's in an awkward position there up against the fence, trying to get that arm down.
Yeah, nice work by Herrera there. Got his arm back, and now he's needed to start thinking about passing guard. And again, we've talked about this on this show before, where wrestlers get comfortable in somebody's guard because they've got them on their back, and that's the final position you want to try to get to in wrestling. And he needs to get uncomfortable right now, get his arms out, get his head out, pass that guard and clear things so he doesn't get submitted. And Allred his submission's not bad. You can see right here he's doing a lot of work to get up and get that armbar. Not able to quite get there, but he's working for it and he's doing all the right things. You just got a kid that, Herrera's a pretty strong kid too. You can see that because some of the submission attempts here, I think Allred would have gotten on some other people, and Herrera just seems to be kind of outpowering him.
Yeah, and that's one of those things too about transitioning from wrestling or stand-up boxing and having to go that extra mile, into the MMA. You've been told to stop, and now let's go.
Yeah, exactly. He needs to get out of there is what he needs to do. And then finally, I think that light bulb came on. He was able to get out of the submission attempt. Now he's got side control on Kevin Allred, and Kevin Allred looks like he might be tiring out just a little bit. Especially you've got a kid that's on top of you that he feels like wrestlers are very tight on top too. It kind of feels like they're smothering you just a little bit, so it can be very uncomfortable. And he's staying busy throwing a lot of knees as well.
Well, Allred's Herrera's doing a pretty good job there at smothering Allred.
Absolutely.
With his arm and his hand, takes the wind right out of you when you cover up your mouth and nose.
Yeah, no, absolutely, he sure is, and he's doing a good job of trapping those arms down so he can strike to the head. And he's doing a lot of stuff that I didn't expect to see out of him, given the amount of time that he's been doing this. He's only been training for MMA for a couple of months here. Never had a fight before, and he's doing a lot of really smart things. Big knees there to the body. He continues to throw those. I was a little worried about him throwing that left knee to the head because that would be illegal, but he's been very conscious of that, and he's been throwing them to the elbow, or the shoulder rather. Nice work, man. Round number 1 in the books, and you got to give a resounding win in that, and the column there for Herrera.
Yeah, that was a pretty good first round. Be interesting to see what happens the second round.
Yeah, without a doubt. It looks to me that Lorenzo Herrera is better on his feet. He's better at takedowns and pretty solid on the ground. I mean, Kevin Allred was pretty busy underneath. He had some, submission attempts. So if there's going to be a win for Kevin Allred, he's going to have to find that opportunity to slip a submission attempt on, because you're really outclassed in every other aspect of the game against Lorenzo Herrera here.
Yeah, and just holding off your fight your opponent isn't going to win you any rounds.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And, he was making those submission attempts, and that ultimately is what ended up making him lose guard. So I give him credit for not kind of trying to hide out underneath here. But you see right here, Lorenzo Herrera is just like a half second quicker on his striking. He gets there just a little bit faster, and he's pretty accurate as well.
Yeah, I think Allred's going to do everything he can to.
Yeah, that was a mistake, I think. That was a mistake, I think, to shoot in underneath here, because again, this is a high-level wrestler. It's hard to take somebody like that down when he knows how to defend. I'm eating my words right now. Nice takedown, nice shot, and nice finish by Kevin Allred. Now, what can he do from here? Again, I kind of felt like his only real hope was to submit. But now that you're within somebody else's guard, can you strike it out? What can you do to finish this fight? And it looks like he just caught himself in a triangle choke. This could be ugly for him. And Dave Sellistead letting him know you can't strike from standing. You've got to engage while on the ground. You can't stand up on your feet and strike, which again is a really crazy rule that only is here in Utah. And it's only here in Utah because there's some guys that are in charge of the athletic commission that just really don't know what this sport's all about.
Herrera's doing a great job here holding off Allred.
Well, he's cinching that down slowly but surely. You can see his foot getting closer and closer to the crook of his knee. Once he gets that down, he's going to be able to tighten this up, and it's going to be lights out Loretta for Kevin Allred if he's able to do it. Oh, there's a tap right there. There's a lot of taps. All right, well, here you go. There's a guy that doesn't have a whole lot of submission background, a guy that's a wrestler and obviously has some boxing. Now, clearly, he's got a little submission as well. Very impressive first performance by Lorenzo Herrera, coming out here and beating a kid that has been around the block a little bit in Kevin Allred. So, very, very impressive debut here in the cage.
Yeah, Herrera's looking very comfortable out there.
Yeah, he looked like a seasoned veteran, and he certainly didn't look like a guy that's coming out here for his very first time, and I'm very impressed with what I've seen tonight. Clearly, so are the ladies. I don't know. Kevin Allred will get with the ladies as well. He's pretty smooth. He's not feeling too good about things. He was confident coming in here, quite frankly, because he had the experience on this kid. And so he's understandably a little bit distraught about that. But I don't think he has anything to hang his head about. It was a tough kid that he ran up against here. And Lorenzo Herrera, he's going to be you're going to see more of him, I guarantee you that. All right, nice work. Congratulations. All right, folks, we're going to shift gears into the welterweight division. We've seen this kid before, Jay Chicken Jensen, the jailer for Salt Lake County Jail over there. Interesting kid in terms of he has fought some of the best guys in that weight division and held his own. But he's fought some of the low-level guys that he's had his hands full with. He fights to the level of his competition. But he's not trying to make a career out of this whole fight thing. He's trying to he comes in here and has fun. He says it's a great outlet for me. I get to come in here and enjoy myself, punching guys, and they get to punch me. And he's one of those guys that really gets a thrill out of being punched in his face. Speaking of being punched in your face, Jason Allgaier gets punched in his face quite a bit.
This is going to be a good matchup between these two guys. They're both interesting to watch.
Yeah, Allgaier's another kid that's fought a lot. He's had maybe 70 fights. He's been, in a lot of fights, but he hasn't won very many of them. He's lost most of them, and he's a guy that'll tap real quick. If he gets in an uncomfortable situation, he'll tap real quick. So this is going to be interesting to see if Jay Jensen can rise to the level or just kind of hang out with Jason Allgaier. So far, just kind of feeling each other out, not getting close enough to hit one another, just throwing some jabs out. There we go, a little contact. Jason Allgaier trying to throw a nice power kick there, and Jay Jensen coming up underneath looking for a takedown. Well, it was an attempted throw by Jay Jensen, and Allgaier able to get his hips back and not allow the throw to happen. Now he's got Jay Jensen down against the cage, and a nice tight guillotine going on right here, Todd.
He's got that locked in there.
Yeah, that's on there pretty tight. His neck's getting stretched just a little bit. Allgaier's got to keep his legs wrapped around Jensen's waist. If Jensen's able to raise his hips up a little bit, all that pressure comes off your neck. But it looks like he didn't know that, and he just tapped. He tapped underneath there, going to sleep. He's doing the herky-jerky right now. We've seen that a time or two. And you're not quite sure you're going out, but you go out just a little bit, and your body functions just kind of get a little herky-jerky on you, and it's kind of a cool feeling. And the cool thing about it is it's free. You don't even have to pay for that.
Yeah. Pretty impressive by Allgaier. He got right in there toe-to-toe, and pretty impressive takedown.
I'm to be honest with you, I'm pretty surprised that Allgaier beat Jason, or that beat Jay Jensen. Jensen's a pretty tough kid. He got caught in a submission there, but look, Allgaier put it on. He put it on correctly, so you can't complain about that. I'm surprised that he won, because I think they fight 10 times and Jensen wins 9 of those. This was the one that he did not win, and good for Allgaier getting a win here. And he comes in and fights quite a bit. and it's nice to see him get a win. So congratulations there, Jason Gator Allgaier. Let's keep the action rolling. We got a couple guys here that, quite frankly, don't like each other much. Jake Truant and Mike Crisman. Truman's a kid that watches the show regularly. He sees Crisman on the show all the time. Mike Crisman has a tendency to say kind of dumb things. He just does. He says things that just flies out of his mouth, and his brain isn't necessarily in charge of what comes out of his mouth. And Jake Truant has kind of taken exception to it and said, I want to beat that dude up. So he gave us a call. He came in here. Now, Mike Crisman, he has fought as low as welterweight at 170. He's fighting today at heavyweight. Why? Because this guy called him out, and that's just what Mike does. So Mike might not be the smartest guy around, but, I give him credit. He's got a lot of cojones, man.
Well, he's not turning away from any fights either, You got to give it up for the Sugarloaf coming back week after week.
What I like about this matchup here, though, is, Mike's naturally walks around just a little bit over 200, so he's not, completely smaller. Well, I guess he is a little bit smaller. But Mike this is a good matchup because both of them are kind of street fighters. Truman isn't really a guy that has a whole lot of training, but he's a kid that he's got a little bit of training. He's been in the gym, but he's not, what I would say, an expert at this stuff. And, they're going to come out and slug it out. I promise you there will be fireworks.
Yeah, two big guys throwing a lot of weight.
Man, I'll tell you what, that right hand just missed, and had it made contact, it would have been pretty ugly. Sugarloaf feeling what it's like now to be in the heavyweight division. Here's the first time, when you're fighting those lower weight classes, and then you get into a tie-up with a heavyweight, and you realize, wow, this is just different. Normally I could, maybe gotten that throw right there, but Crisman I can't even lift this guy.
Yeah, Truman's saying, let's just turn this into a slugfest.
Yeah, this is a brawl for sure. Now, I'm not sure what Dave Sully said stepping in here for. Oh, there was a knee to the groin? Is that what happened? Oh.
Yeah, it looked like it.
All right, well, either that or Crisman's giving birth. All right, so Sugarloaf going to get a little bit of time to shake this one off, all right, he's going to shake it off. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we got more of this super awesome slugging, punching, kicking, and all that other fun stuff. Welcome back to the Ultimate Combat Experience. Sugarloaf was able to get his testicles to drop back down where they're supposed to be, and we're back right and ready to go. Mike Crisman landed a couple of big right hands. Whoa, that was illegal right there. That downward elbow to the spine was very, very scary. You don't like to see that. And Dave Sully just admonishing him. That was something I may have broken and penalized him for. That was a pretty blatant shot.
Well, Sugarloaf coming out really strong this round. I think after that knee to the groin, I think it pissed him off.
Yeah, sometimes getting knee to the groin will just wake you up, man. It certainly get the blood flowing. Here's what I wouldn't recommend if I were Crisman's coach, to have him shoot underneath it for that takedown, because while he did get it, it took a lot of energy, man. You got to get a kid that's a lot bigger than you, and you had to bear his weight, and not only bear his weight, but try to lift him up for, he was out in there for a good 20 seconds, and now you see where Mike, he's in a good position, but he just doesn't have anything in the tank to do anything with that. So he needs to bring that left arm up and push on the face of Jake Truant and create a little separation so he can get his head out and then go to work. But I think Mike's tired enough that he doesn't even want to do that. I think he just want to kind of hang out down there for a minute.
Yeah, I think Truman's doing the same thing. He's just going to hold on until Sugarloaf wears himself out or sees a good opportunity.
Yeah, that whole holding on to the head thing, though, again, we talked about this. It's something that just wears your arms out. Oh, my goodness. Crisman teeing off here, landing some big shots.
Really surprised. Truman ducking down there and turning away, turning his back on him.
Turning his back. He felt a couple of those, and so now trying to throw some leather of his own and landing a couple. And Sugarloaf going back underneath. Ill-advised. If you're going to shoot in on a big guy, shoot low. Get down low on that leg so you're not stuck at that center of mass where all that weight is being bore down upon you. Shoot low and trip him. Send him back on his hind end, and it's a less risk, and it's less cumbersome.
Truman looks a little surprised.
Yeah, I think he thought he was going to come here and knock Crisman out, and so far he's realized that he's in a fist fight. He's in a war. Mike Crisman came to fight here tonight, and I got to say, I've been pretty impressed with Mike. I give him round number 1. I think he was the more active fighter. I think he landed more shots. Truman didn't really do much with the exception of the knee to the groin, and that knee to the groin was illegal. So I'm giving Mike Crisman round number 1. Jake Truant trying to get his win back, and his corner people getting him all greased up, ready to go back for a second round. Now, here's the funny part about this. That corner man there that Crisman has working his corner doesn't really even speak English. I don't know what he's saying to him over there. He speaks Spanish and with very, very broken English, and Crisman just nodding his head, I think. I don't think he knows what the heck he's saying.
I don't think he cares at this point.
No, he doesn't. Mike's not going to listen to you anyway. All right, looks like both these guys are, well, at least one of them's up off his stool. Let's see yep, here we go. Round number 2, coming your way. Here we go. Sugarloaf finally had his hands up for a minute. Nice Superman punch right down the pipe.
That's not one you see too often from the Sugarloaf.
From the very flat-footed Sugarloaf. And now look at him. He's capitalizing on it. Problem being, he's going to run out of gas here if he doesn't finish. Try it again. You go to the well one too many times. Jake Truman able to sidestep that one. Nice leg kick by Jake Truman. Both these guys seem to have slowed down just a little bit. Now Mike Crisman able to dodge the leg kick rather than just take it. It seems as though as they get more tired, less and less defense is taking place. Nice knee coming up underneath Mike Crisman. And a nice 1-2 over the top by Jake Truman. Both these guys standing very flat foot, very straight-legged. Nice leg kick by Mike Crisman. Once again, not a whole lot of defense taking place here. It's just going to be a battle of attrition. Who's going to be able to take the most shots?
If either one of these guys land one of them big punches, it's going to be lights out for the other one.
I agree, but the further this fight goes on, the less sauce you're going to have on those punches. They're still going to be big and loopy, but they're not going to have any power behind it. And so I think the likelihood of a knockout occurring, aside from a knockout due to fatigue, it lessens as time goes on.
Yeah, this late into the second round, I agree.
Yeah, in fact, you see Truman landing a couple of shots there, and it's not really phasing Crisman. Although I tell you what, Crisman, I think, had control of things. This dummy, this is what he does. He drops his hands and lets you punch him. And here's the problem with that, okay? You were winning the round, and then you do that, and he's scoring points. You don't think about those kind of things. Yeah, it looks really cool, and you can tell your girlfriend that I dropped my hands, let him punch me. That's awesome. But you just lost the round there, and that was a pivotal round. You had one round to nothing. You could have gone up 2 rounds to nothing, but you did that. And so, I don't know. It just Mikey just sometimes doesn't do the smartest things. He may still win this round. I mean, he's been pretty consistent from the beginning of the round, and then now toward the end of the round, it was just right there in the middle where he gave up a lot of big shots to his face.
Well, he's not giving Truman much room here.
Well, it looks like he's trying to get a date. I'm not sure what Truman's doing. Just gave him his back and let him stay there. All right. Yeah, this is kind of strange, and Mike Crisman should be trying to sweep him, take him to the ground. None of that. He's just kind of hanging on. Oh, and let him go. Well, here you go. Maybe Crisman's redeeming himself for dropping his hands because Truman just doesn't seem like he's got much fight left in him. Nice takedown almost by Sugarloaf. Couldn't quite hold the position, although he did get the initial takedown.
And Truman's saying, it's my turn. You're going to take a few punches now, Sugarloaf.
Yeah, well, the end of the round is here, and it's going to be interesting to me to see how that one was scored because I really do think Crisman won that round. But when you have a guy that lands up on top at the end there, that'll stay in judges' minds. And it's, it's hard to see to figure what's going on in their heads. I think Crisman won round number 1. Round number 3 underway here with Sugarloaf and Jake Truman. Todd, how do you see this fight so far?
I'm going to have to give both rounds to the Sugarloaf. Truman just, I don't know what's going on with him. I thought he would have been more in Mike's face.
Yeah, well, the fight's gone out of him. He's tired. That's the bottom line. People don't realize how fatiguing this stuff is. Mike Sugarloaf throwing some nice leg kicks to start this round off here, and Truman seems to be content with being just a kind of a punching bag at this point.
Yeah, and even those kicks coming in, even if they don't look all that powerful, they're hurting.
Oh, you can see the response, the physical response that Truman's had to those kicks. So, yeah, they're hurting. Just like that one right there hurt. Swept Mike Crisman to the ground. And if that kick had taken place in the first round, Crisman would still be on his feet. A lot of that was fatigue. I think he just got swept his feet out from underneath him. It was a nice kick, but it wasn't that nice of a kick. Sugarloaf doing a good job of maintaining half guard here and working on coming out the backside. Truman doing a pretty good job of maintaining his position as well. He's trying to trap that arm down there. There you go. Now he's trapped it. Now he can work that right hand to the face. And he is doing so. Mike Crisman taking some shots here. Those are not doing anything. Those are sliding right off. Both these guys have fought their hearts out rounds number 1 and 2. Not a whole lot left in the tank by either one of them. Sugarloaf just missing there. He should have kept that underhook on his right side. Otherwise, he'd be up and out had he done that. He's got the underhook again. Now he's got to elevate. He's got to come out, shrimp out to the side. Oh my goodness, he does get a reversal out of this. Maybe. All right, he's going to stand up. Truman just missing with the right hand as he did.
Yeah, the Sugarloaf's not looking too bad tonight.
Yeah, Sugarloaf's looking as good as I've seen him, and this is, like I said, it's a good matchup for him. He's not overclassed by a guy. He's got a tough kid, there's no doubt about it, and a kid that kind of fights like him. That was silly. I don't know why he did that. He just pulled a much larger person right back on top of him. I think he was trying to do some sort of takedown, but that just didn't quite work out for him.
Yeah, I think they're both taking a break here.
Yeah, Mike. Well, I don't know that it's a break because breaking plays are going to come back from it. I just don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think either one of them are coming back. The tanks are on empty, and there's no refill station in sight.
Yeah, and both these guys are so fatigued right now. These punches aren't doing a whole lot.
They're not doing a whole lot, but I mean, Truman is scoring. I think he's going to win this final round. It's going to be interesting to see what the judges have to say about round number 2. Clearly, I think Crisman won round number 1, so it's one of those. It's going to be close. It's going to be tough to score, and we'll just have to wait and see what the judges say. One thing you got to give Sugarloaf and Truman credit for, they left it all out there. They didn't pace themselves. They gave the fans what they came here to see, which is a great MMA fight. But I will say this: Truman has probably got to have a little more respect for a guy that he thought was nothing more than a loudmouth before. And for Sugarloaf has to have earned his respect if nothing else, and maybe earned a win. We'll have to see. One judge gives it to Mike Crisman. The other giving it to Jake Truant. And your winner's going to be... Come on, guys, get to it. You got to only add up 3 rounds, so 1, 2, 3. It's not like math, high-level math.
One of the judges might have taken a restroom break.
Maybe. I don't know how you'd want to leave after that. That fight was an amazing fight. Good stuff both ways. Wasn't the most technically sound fight by any stretch, but it was definitely entertaining. Oh, Dave Sulyestad thought that Mike Sugarloaf won, but it looks like Jake Truant won.
Psych!
Yeah, well, that was kind of disheartening there. All right, big win, Jake Truant. Go back to the couch and call Crisman names. Welcome back to the Ultimate Combat Experience. We've got a stare down going on between Cole Rose and Brandon Marchant. You may recall Brandon Marchant was in town last week for military duty, and he beat up old Cole Rose's buddy, Mike Crisman, last week. Well, Cole Rose took exception to that and said, you know what, I want to fight this guy. So here they are in your main event. And so far, lots of energy in this first round.
Yeah, this is going to be an exciting fight. Both of these guys are ready to get at it. Two tough kids.
Yeah, you know what? Cole's one of my favorite guys in this show, though. He's a great story. He started with us round number 1, and that was maybe 7-8 years ago. He was obese. He was over 300 pounds. You can see now he's not obese anymore. He's in great shape, and just the way watching him evolve and kind of growing with our show has been it's been a lot of fun. Brandon Marchant, on the other hand, how do you say anything bad about a guy who is in the military and on his leave time wants to come in and hop in the cage and fight 2 weeks in a row?
Yeah, just it's another workout for him.
Yeah, I guess, man. I feel sorry for the guys in his platoon or whatever he's in. He probably just beats them up all day. All right, Cole Rose able to get double underhooks and a nice takedown there. And Marchant's a kid that actually, he has a bit of a wrestling background. I'm surprised to see that he gave up that type of a takedown because that was really kind of a muscle move by Cole Rose. Marchant pulling guard here, looking to sweep, elevating that right foot. But you know what? Cole Rose is hip to it and almost passed guard, almost came up over the top. That was a nice little chess match going on right there between Brandon Marchant and Cole Rose as far as that elevator and then attempted guard pass. More technical jiu-jitsu than I expected to see from these two.
Yeah, when you're on leave from the military, you don't want to come home, pick up a fight, and go back and tell the guys you lost.
Well, he's already got a victory under his belt last week, so worst case scenario, he's going to go 1-1. But he's fighting the tougher of the two, Mike Crisman and Cole Rose. Now, Mike and Cole have fought each other a few times, and I think they're 1-1. They fought each other a couple times, and Cole's 1-1 and Mike Crisman's 1-1. I think Cole's the tougher of the two now. And look at that, Cole Rose, man, oh man, laying it on Brandon Marchant. You want to stand up lazy like that? I'm going to hit you while you're doing it. That was amazing.
Yeah, a couple big guys, very quick.
I don't know what Dave Selliestad's yelling at him for, but I think these guys are both doing a great job. Oh, nice. Nice work by Cole Rose. Swinging for the fences is Brandon Marchant. It looks like his mouthpiece just came out. Brandon Marchant not really even trying to get that takedown. I think he was looking for a place to rest a little bit. He went up underneath and just kind of hung out there. Cole Rose gave him a nice little knee toward the end of the round. Cole Rose looking very, very good after round number 1. Brandon Marchant, not so much. You see here Drew Crew working the corner. Brandon Marchant right there. Drew's been around a little while. He's also fought back in the early days of the Ultimate Combat. I haven't seen him inside the cage as a fighter in a while, but he's brought a lot of fighters in, and they've always done very well. I've been kind of impressed to see how this kid has, matured as an instructor, as a trainer. He used to train under me years ago, and putting together some nice little squad of his own. And they call themselves Drew Crew. All right, here we go. Round number 2 between Brandon Marchant and Cole Rose. Cole's always been really good with that jab. He's kind of bothers you with it and then comes over the top with that right hand. One of the things I know Cole was working on is setting that right hand up better by circling. Oh my goodness, he tried that same takedown and he wasn't able to get it this time. And boy, Brandon Marchant's on top of him. Brandon's a big, strong kid to have on top of you too. He's going to be hard to move.
Yeah, he's going to take advantage of this position right here.
Oh, he's not so far. So far, he's been content to just whisper sweet nothings into Cole Rose's ear. Hasn't done a whole lot in terms of fighting, though. There he goes, trying to let the right hand go. Cole Rose nicely takes advantage of Brandon letting go and stood up. Nice! Right hand by Cole Rose, getting a knockdown, and he rocked Brandon Marchant there.
Yeah, he looks a little shaken up there.
He sure does. Cole being very patient here. I would like to see him probably get a little more aggressive, clear past those legs, because Brandon's not doing anything to stop him from. He's afraid. He's concerned about the up kick, but Dave Sully said going to stand him up here if they don't get busy doing something. All right, they're going to bring him back up to the free. Brandon Marchant, it's not a coffee break, man. You can't just hang out. It's time to get up and fight. He's tired, and that right there is a bad indicator for him. And if I were Cole, I'd be teeing all over that you need to step up your game because Brandon doesn't have a whole lot left in the tank. I'll tell you what, though, those punches he's throwing, they're vicious, and there's a lot behind him. He is tired, but if he lands one of those, it's going to be ugly for Cole. Cole being very smart and being measured, not letting himself get caught up in his successes so far and being reckless and coming in with his hands down or anything like that.
Yeah, Cole Rose is looking really good tonight. He's got his head in the game. His conditioning's on. He hasn't let back an inch.
Yeah, Cole, again, man, it's fun to watch his progression. He's come a long way, boy. He didn't have any fight savvy when he first started. He was a street fighter and admittedly a bit of a street thug, and now he's a family man. He's married, got a couple kids, and really got his life in line. And now fighting is more. It's more enjoyable for him. He says, this is now. It's not just going in and fighting. It's more of a science. I'm learning things every day and getting better every day. And now he's got Brandon Marchant in a really bad spot. Got his head down, throwing some nice big knees to the head. Brandon just doesn't have enough to even try to get out of there. He's taking those knees, and they're big knees. Oh, my goodness. Round number 2 in the books, and Brandon Marchant doesn't have much left in the tank. Cole Rose thinks he's tired. He has no idea how much more tired Brandon Marchant is than he. Brandon's really struggling. All right, looks like we're going to take a break. We're going to come back for round number 3 between Cole Rose and Brandon Marchant. This has been good. Don't you go anywhere. Welcome back to the Ultimate Combat Experience. If you're just joining us, man, you have missed 2 very exciting rounds between Brandon Marchant and Cole Rose. Cole very clearly winning both rounds, but what an amazing 2 rounds it's been. Both guys just kind of pawing with that jab, not really anything behind it. Just kind of measuring one another out. I think Cole's just trying to gauge how much Brandon Marchant still has in the tank because, do I dare kind of go with some reckless abandon and go and try to finish this fight, or do I kind of want to hang back until he runs out of gas again? And right there, he's done the right thing. He's kind of hanging back because Brandon Marchant clearly has something for him.
Rose looking like he's just setting up for the big one.
If he's smart, he's clearly won 2 rounds. I would just kind of let that clock tick. I'll be happy to stand outside here and use my footwork and pepper you with 1 and 2 here and there. Not really commit to a whole lot. See, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't get into that tie-up with him. Brandon Marchant with a low blow and apologizing. Cole's in. It's all right, man. You didn't get me.
Brandon looks like he's just waiting for this round to get over.
Yeah, well, yeah, he is. Nice combination there by Cole Rose, and another nice combination. Boy, Cole's just picking him apart now, and that's it.
Wow.
I don't know if that was a finger to the eye or what it was, but Brandon Marchant sure responded to what it looked like kind of a lazy right hand. But that's going to do it, man. Crisman's pretty happy. He avenged him there. You know what I like about Crisman, too? He was in a war last week with Brandon Marchant. He's back in another war this week. Most UFC fighters take 3 months off. Crisman takes 3 days off. He's a machine. I give him lots of credit, but all the credit goes to Cole Rose tonight, avenging his teammates' loss there after last week coming up. There's Cole's wife. And he brings a crowd, boy. Oh, Cole brings a lot of people.
And a lot of energy tonight.
Oh, yeah, man. Amazing energy here in the room. And, again, Marchant talked a little smack last week after beating Crisman. And, talked a little smack about the combat cartel, and Cole says, hey, man, wait a minute. I got something to say about that, and he came in and said it, and he said it in a big way. Nice job, Cole. Greasy biker, I'm not so sure I agree with that decision. It was a good fight. I thought Crisman did just enough to win it.
You know, he looked great out there. I'm looking forward to seeing him back in the ring soon.
All right, well, Jake Truant getting it done tonight. We got more Ultimate Combat next week. Tune in. We'll see you next week.